we did not just want to sign the agreement and sleep. This time around, we said we have to put a mechanism for its monitoring, for its reviews, if there are needs for us for evaluation. So there will be quarterly evaluation, there will be half-yearly review, and then the two heads of customs will meet twice in a year to see if there are challenges, if there are places they needed to review and all of that. So we're optimistic.
I'll take you back again. The personnel, the Nigerian Customs Service has been accused of being insincere, talking with two sides of the mouth. Some of your colleagues have been known to divert vehicles. How true is that?
Yeah, like I told you, I said there would be that. It's vulnerable. We are vulnerable to that system. If people, get out of Benin Republic, and then they say, look, it's okay if you pay us everything that is liable, that is applicable to Benin, pay it, and then go and face your people. And if Benin people agree to that, don't forget that the two countries are coastal countries. We have ports, they have ports. That's why we don't have a formal transit trade agreements between our two countries. If you are talking of something going from Cotonou to Niger Republic, or to Mali, or to Burkina Faso, these are all landlocked countries. But for reasons best known to our importers, they decide to land their vehicles in Cotonou and then drive them into Nigeria. So this is what we are trying to manage. It's a peculiar situation that we are trying to manage. And I believe that the more we can work with our colleagues from those compromise, we're not ruling out compromise. There could be compromises along the line. The ones that are cleared in Nigerian ports, there are reported cases of compromise. Federal operations units, they make arrest of a number of vehicles. In any system, there must be one or two deviants in all of that. What we try to do is to strengthen our machinery, our structure, to identify such people who compromise and punish them. And we have been doing that.
This agreement with Benin Republic that has been reworked, what are those things that you have put in that will help strengthen it in such a way that your colleagues will not get compromised?
We're now seeing it more as an internal problem. We thought the greater part of the problem is the compliance from our colleagues from the other end. Now, if we succeed in bringing this vehicle in, we have a number of structures. Number one, when these vehicles come, they are not just going to come as Toyota car. We are insisting, when you are escorting, please, if it is a Toyota Corolla, specify. If it's a 2010 model of Toyota Corolla, specify. When we have that level of compliance, it becomes very difficult for Wale or Nyota to, clear Toyota Corolla as Toyota Tercel or a smaller version of Corolla. So once it comes in the agreed format and they are documented, the stake is higher for anybody to compromise, to change it, to twist it in any way. So the compliance starts from the source. Let them come in the way they are, and then it will be extremely difficult for anybody to change.
Ismail, you've worked around the borders, especially the marine borders, and you worked with the customs. You've seen how they operate. Do you think these new structures or these revamped structures will work? Because some of the revelations we've gotten as regards the compromise within the customs has come from people like you who've been in there. What do you think it will?
I'm optimistic it will work. Why I say so is the government has these openings for flexibility to review its policies. If we ban things here, proximate countries like Benin Republic cannot decide to unban such things. If we raise the tariff here to encourage goods coming in, or to discourage certain goods from coming in like rice, you now see Benin Republic taking so high volume of rice into their place meant for the Nigerian market. But when we begin to stamp our feet on the ground to ensure that everything that is dutiable that must come in here, duties are paid, and that the ban of rice through the land borders are enforced, you see it just falling in place. I think the agreement recently signed is not a stiff all-in-one thing. It's open to review. The custom administrations of both countries can still meet, look at it, look at how far it's gone, and rework it. So we are not going to run on a straitjacket template. We have flexibility to look at it in the next 6 months or say 1 year. If it's not working, we keep reworking until we get it right. Trade itself is dynamic. We cannot pass it down hook, line and sinker on traders.
Ismail, it's interesting that most of the things we're talking about rice, we're talking about cars, we're talking about frozen chicken and stuff like that. These are goods that are imported through Cotonou ports. They are not goods produced in Benin Republic. What are the goods that move from here to Cotonou? We're talking trade relations. I mean, it's not just using their ports to bring in things that Nigeria has banned, stuff to be smuggled in. I think I'll put that here.
If I can, I think you hit it on the head. The trades that we're trying to regulate in the sub-region comes under the framework of the ETLS, the ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme. In simple terms, we trade goods produced within the sub-regions duty-free. You could produce duty-free. It can just like free movement of goods, services, and people. So it's all within the same protocols. Our neighbors, unfortunately, have been breaching that. Just like you said, you mentioned rice. We talk about frozen chicken. We talk about vehicles and things like that. Nigeria has bent backward a little bit to say, if you manufacture any of these things, in Benin Republic, even if it has inputs for as much as 60% manufacturing inputs, you can still bring it to Nigeria. We went as far as saying even the goods are banned in Nigeria, but we have evidence to show that it is produced in Benin Republic. You can still bring them. We exempted them from all of that. But what we have is rice from Thailand, rice from India, and all of this, frozen chicken from Europe, from Brazil, and all of that. We had high-level consultations, not just with Benin Republic officials, but also with the ministers when we went. We got assurances that they are going to cooperate with us. We got assurances that in 2020, in about 4 years' time, that there is going to be some kind of convergence in our fiscal policies. So what is banned in Nigeria will remain banned in those places. So we hope that they will keep, they will honor that. But if they don't, the agreement that we have makes provisions for us to adequately protect our borders, and it also makes provisions for sanctions. The Nigerian government insisted that they have the rights to invoke whatever action they needed necessary for us to protect our borders.
But while isn't it a direct indictment on your organization that we still find frozen chicken in the market, we still find imported rice? They have been banned now for some time.
It is because the dynamics of smuggling is so strong anywhere in the world. Once there's demand for it, people will put anything. People would stick out their neck, they will put out their investment, because they profit massively. Rice pays 10% in Benin. It pays 70% here in Nigeria. So the environment for smuggling is already created. Frozen poultry, they don't even eat that one in Benin Republic. The one they dump in Nigeria. So the stake is higher. We are arresting them. Yesterday I was in federal operations. We had about 4,000 cartons. So they will continue to smuggle.
Do you prosecute these people whom you arrest, or you just collect the goods on them and destroy?
Definitely. The law allows us to prosecute them. Prosecution does take time.
How many have gone to jail?
Just about 3 or 4 weeks ago, there was 5 smugglers that were arrested and they were successfully prosecuted. It takes time.
When you say successfully prosecuted, how many jail term?
The law provides for 2 years for smuggling offense, for the type of smuggling offense that they were, because it was false declaration.
Okay, I never asked a question which you didn't really answer. How much of goods manufactured in Nigeria go through the Benin border?
I would say under informal trades, a lot, and it's not captured.
But the former one. Can you just hold your thoughts? We need to take a break. We'll come back and continue that conversation.
Okay.